Only one of the rookie quarterbacks from the 2025 NFL draft has been named as a starter for week 1, but we're going to preview how we think they're going to do, he's going to do, and also we're going to have a preview over who we think potentially has the ability to start this season based upon their situation. So, first of all, Cam Ward, the only starter. How do we think he is going to do at the Tennessee Titans in this first season? Because obviously the AFC South is probably the weakest division. Now, in terms of quarterback play, there's only one very good quarterback who had a poor sophomore season, right? In CJ Stroud, he was nowhere near he had the sophomore slump that we expected him to have. More tape, it's going to be more difficult. Still won the division because AFC South sucks. Being a fan of another AFC South team, but Cam Ward, Titans, can he mount a challenge against CJ Stroud and the Texans?
I think Cam Ward is in a really good situation. I think a lot of people aren't necessarily looking his way, but if he's won that locker room, and that tells me that the veterans on the team, the players on the team know they've got a starting QB that can help them win. Players know if this guy's actually going to give us a chance, and like he's been named first team captain heading into the season, which doesn't usually happen for a rookie. If it does, usually it is QBs, and even then, it's still fairly rare. Usually, they have to wait until their second season. Yeah, before they're named captain. But he was unanimous. He's been doing all the extra work. He's been the first guy in and the last guy out. He's been holding the team accountable. He really wants to win, and he's making sure that he's putting that team forward. He's 100% locked in. So I think he will play well. He's shown flashes in preseason, but then he's also shown areas he needs to improve on. But I think it's going to be a really good year for him. Whether or not it's going to lead to like a playoff berth or anything like that, who knows? But I generally think you're going to get a solid QB performance from him. And I think that the team that's definitely going to be in the hunt later on, and they may be a hop skip away from entering the playoffs. But heading forward, I think the future looks bright in Tennessee. I think Cam Ward is the guy, and he's actually going to be a little bit of an outlier. Like I said, a lot of teams are choosing to let their QBs sit and learn for a year, but he's one of those guys that's in the same mold as a Herbert, as a Joe Burrow, that can just come in, start and play and elevate that whole team. So I think that's going to be the case over there in Tennessee.
And if you look at the depth chart over there in the Titans, it's got Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett, throw to. So it's good to actually have some people to actually throw to.
Experienced proven guys.
Experienced proven guys on the field. I don't think he's at the moment. I only see one divisional winner for the AFC South, but I don't think that will determine whether he has a successful season. If Cam Ward leads them to second in the division, I think that's a success for the Titans.
I think it is, considering where they've been. And remember, there's no tape in him yet in the NFL, so he's probably they'll probably start to figure him out maybe towards the end of the season. But he is also probably going to have that sophomore slump next year. But having no tape on you does help, because it can put defensive coordinators on end. Remember, you've got the best defensive minds in the world. They will pick up on everything. I'm talking telltale signs, what direction your toes facing before a snap. These are the things they look at. It sounds silly, but we've seen it where offensive linemen will tee off, but they'll know if you're run blocking because your right foot is half a foot back, and they know, that's a pass play. So these small things, like, he needs to make sure he irons it out. But I think he's going to have a good season. Tennessee's going to have a good season.
Now moving on to probably, I think, the most controversial. Shedeur Sanders was not made the starter in Cleveland. Probably showed the best promise of anything quarterback related. And Friends of the show definitely have some opinions about whether he should or shouldn't be having the starter. One of our closest friends, but the way that I see it is that Shedeur will be starting a game this season.
Yep.
Oh, he's definitely gonna start a couple of games this season.
And it's
that's
more
without
of
doubt.
it's just more of Cleveland are gonna let what they've got. So if you look at the depth chart, apparently it's Joe Flacco, then Gabriel Dillon, and then Shedeur.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm gonna say my piece. Okay. Dylan Gabriel was drafted ahead of Shedeur Sanders. It is what it is. Collusion allegations, whatever. Something happened there because the talent was definitely there from Shedeur's angle. We've seen it in camp. We've seen it in preseason. The players know. This is the first time journalists have been counting reps in camp as though it was actual game stats. So everyone was going crazy. Either way, the NFL money machine will keep going. He has the highest selling jersey. He will play this year. Dylan Gabriel was drafted ahead of him. There are people in that organization that looked Shedeur up and down and said, "No, we're taking Dylan." When everyone knew it should have been Shedeur. This happens everywhere. It happens in the corporate world. People have to justify their purchase. People have to justify their investment. They're doubling down on Dylan because they have to. If they say the guy we took 4th round is the best QB on our team, what do you think the scouts and evaluators on that team are going to do?
5th round.
Fifth round. They're all going to be gone. So their jobs are gone. So they're doubling down. The analysts, they have to double down. And I've thought this through. I've been driving home from work, pissed as hell, thinking, why did this happen? And I'll tell you what, let me say this, B. Let me finish on this point. Dylan Gabriel's metrics, his ability to play the ball, his build, his height, all of that stuff. Is he Kyler Murray? Athleticism? Hell no. Not even close. So statistically, he's either got to be Kyler Murray or Russell Wilson.
Or Drew Brees.
Or Drew Brees. And something tells me that there's a bigger chance of the Ice Age appearing next week than that happening. He's literally got to be an outlier for Hall of Fame, if not raw talent, for him to succeed in this league. And I don't think that's what he is. He played at Oregon, easy passes, easy throws, fast break offense. They haven't got a Sean Payton constructing that team. The Browns are historically a mess. Okay, they've got a good head coach. He can coach, but even he's running thin. All right. Shedeur Sanders will start because Dylan Gabriel, we all know it. He can play football, but he's not going to be just Drew Brees. He's not as athletic as Kyler Murray. He needs to be at least Russell Wilson to succeed in the league. And he's neither of those guys, and we all know it. So Shedeur Sanders will start, and the rest will be history. It's his team. I'm just upset that the Cleveland Browns get to benefit off this if he's a good player and an elite QB and a starting QB. Like the team that doesn't deserve it for what they put him through, what they put the fans through, are going to benefit. That's my biggest hate on this whole situation. The Cleveland Browns are going to benefit from having a starting QB in the NFL that they didn't want. That's what annoys me the most about this whole situation. You know, they own his rights, so he hasn't even got the choice to go to the Raiders or sign with a team that he thinks he can develop on. He's stuck in Cleveland for the next 5 years. They're not going to let those jersey sales go. And they know in that organization, he's the best QB there. So they're not going to let that happen. Imagine the story. Cleveland draft an elite QB, well, a starting NFL caliber QB, and they just let him walk. And they stuck with Dylan Gabriel. That's like the worst doubling down I've ever seen. That's all I've got to say. Pete, say what you want to say.
Okay, that was a nice little soliloquy.
That was a full-on rant, and I'm here for it.
Had to be.
All right, let me bring you back to the realities of the NFL. Like you said, here's the thing. The Cleveland Browns never wanted Shedeur Sanders. I don't know who told them to draft Shedeur Sanders. It could have been from the NFL itself. It could have been from the commish, because the owner's not claiming it and the general manager is also not claiming it. So the question is, who told them to turn in that pay for Shedeur Sanders? Because we clearly know once that's established that they didn't want him. Now, they wanted Dylan Gabriel for a reason because Stefanski feels like Dylan Gabriel fits his offense much better. That's why they drafted get Dylan Gabriel ahead of Shedeur Sanders. How foolishly that may sound, that is what Stefanski wanted, right? Now, here's the thing. In preseason, we saw Shedeur come in. He played. He had outstanding appearance in the first game. The rest of the couple games, not so much. But one thing, I'm gonna add a little pinch of salt here. That first game that Shedeur played, he was going up against 2s and 3s.
You can only show competence against who you're up against, right?
Going against starters. Yes, I know that. I know that. Here's the thing. I know that. Now, here's the thing that Cleveland did that I agree with you, which goes on your sabotage lines. After he's shown out against the 2s and 3s, when you go to the third preseason game whereby it was against the starters, play Shedeur. Continue to play him for the preseason. Let him go up against the starters and actually get to see, can he actually play against NFL starters, in preseason. Now, the question remains, he's going to play at some point this year because they're giving Joe Flacco the opportunity to flop, which he's going to flop. Dylan Gabriel's going to come in and he's going to flop too. And then Shedeur's going to come in and then we're going to see going forward how he's going to play because he's probably the best quarterback on the roster. Now, in all of this, I look at it and I'm like, Shedeur himself is not going to want to play in Cleveland for the rest of his career.
Nope.
Some way, somehow, if he shows out, if he becomes Cleveland's quarterback and he's their quarterback for the next 2, 3, 4 years, after his 4 years done, he would want to move away. His dad, the whole team, they'll get him out of Cleveland some way, somehow. You get what I'm saying? So Cleveland's not going to benefit for a long run. If he has to play in Cleveland, if they have to tag him twice, they'll tag him twice, and then he'll leave at the end of the day. Cleveland has no choice because he never wanted to be in Cleveland in the first place. Now, at the end of, I say all
I know,
of this to
and
say
don't
that,
forget because he's not a high draft. They don't get him for the fifth year. They don't get the fifth-year option. So
it comes around. It comes. I'm telling you, he's only going to sign.
They can tag him though. No, but they can tag him.
They'll tag him, so they get a maximum of 6 years out. Maximum, realistically 5, right?
Realistically, maximum of 5 years out of him. And then he'll go to whichever NFL team that he wants to take his talents to and play for. At the end of the day, here's the thing. It would have been even much better off if Shedeur went undrafted and signed with whichever team he wanted to sign with that would actually give him a true opportunity. But unfortunately, they did not let that happen. So I believe he's going to... But then I say all of this to say that let's also not forget that part of this is Shedeur himself. He put himself in his position. Because we all know this. Let's not act like we don't know this. In the NFL, when you're coming up, especially when you are, your father was a very outspoken superstar in the NFL, and you are coming up and you play the quarterback position. No matter who you are, this is serve as a reminder that a little humility will go a long way. We know that you can brag and do all of that, but let's try and get a little bit of humility because I don't recall the last QB prospects that was as
disrespected
the process like Shedeur was.
You know what?
I mean, he was disrespected, but his arrogance rubbed a lot of teams the wrong way, and that's why he's in this position. Because NFL, if you get what I'm saying, if you go back and you watch all the QB prospects, let's talk about even the black QB prospects. None of them was braggadocious like Shedeur was throughout the process. Let's not absolve him of that.
I think Shedeur had that confidence, but I think his dad as well was outspoken, saying things such as, "I won't allow my son to go to a team. He can get drafted, but I will do what I can to make sure he's in a good situation." Now, on the flip of that, I know it's not going to happen because that's not how the Mannings roll. I think if they are a fraternity like that, I would love, all right, for who's Archie's father? It's I can't remember his name.
Cooper.
Yeah, Cooper.
Yeah, Cooper, man. I would love Cooper Manning to drop that line. Just as like
because they are
fist bump to Dion and say, let's see if they try the same thing with me. And if they do, you got your case.
That's not going to happen though.
Let's see. I know it's not going to happen. But if they did that, I would love to see it. I'd love to see it.
All right.
So hey, let's see how Shedeur does. And going forward, we'll see how it pans out. But I believe he's gonna have a successful rookie year. He's gonna take over that job because one thing I've seen about that kid is that he has been humbled and he's still on the humble.
And he's going to work. He's not going to not work to try and get it. That's the thing. He's going to work his butt off to try and claw back to where he believes he should be. Right. All right. So the last of the rookie quarterbacks that has a chance really of actually seeing game time, Tyler Shough or Shough or however we want to. So picked in the second round. Now Spencer Rattler. Now Spencer Rattler is the starting quarterback in New Orleans.
He stunk it up last year too.
Just
he's
spare a thought for Chris Olave because
is what it is, man.
Olave's going into his final year of his.
Yeah,
he's gonna have no leverage, so he's gonna be like, well. You can pay me and I can be your receiver. You know I'm good, but I'm not going to have the numbers. That's not through any fault of my own. That's what his agent's going to say. It's not his fault. Let him walk and see what he does on a team with a QB. Because I know a lot of teams would love him.
I actually don't get the thought process behind the Saints spending that second round pick on Tyler Shough. The reason why I don't get a thought process is this. You're drafting, and it's not like he's young. He's 25. By the time he finishes his rookie year, he's gonna be 29. By the time the 4-year contract is up.
So you see his medical? You know how many operations he's had? He's basically got a new shoulder, both knees, and the age. And you know what? What's his name? Their head coach used to be Dallas Cowboy offensive coordinator, Boise State all time, Kellen Moore. So he said it was like having a coach on the field. How many times have I heard that line? It's not, you have to understand, you've got to be able to sling the rock. We all know he can throw a football, but you've got to win games. There are so many players that are good coaches and understand the scheme, understand the system, but it's not, all in all, it's what happens when you play what you do on the field.
The only year he managed to stay a bit healthy. And
wait a minute, no, Tyler Shough.
He's worse than Brandon Weeden. It's even worse.
Look, Tyler is older than Olave.
I don't know, man. I don't know the thought process between this. So by the time he's ready to go on to his next contract, if he earns it, he's going to be pushing early 30s, mate.
All right,
he's going to be pushing early 30s. He's already a 32-year-old quarterback. He's not.
Well,
but realistically, like bringing it back, when do we think he's going to be starting with Saints?
I think probably week 5, week 6.
5, 6, yeah.
Obviously, we're not talking about if somebody gets injured or anything like that. We're not wishing that upon anybody.
No.
It's more of just in terms of quality of play.
Like, so let's say they're 0-4, 0-5, or they're 1-5 around that time. You got nothing to lose. You might as well let Tyler Shough play, and I think that's what's going to be their record. They don't have a bit of a losing record unless the defense shows.
So Saints scheduled to start the season. They're playing some bums this weekend. Then
they're still going to lose the bums.
I'm just saying it because it's Peter's team.
Well, I'm just saying.
And then they're going to lose that game. That's the right lane.
All right, so then they've got the 49ers. They're losing that. Seahawks.
They're losing that.
And then just a small task of the Bills.
Losing.
Then they have the Giants week 5.
That's the
first opportunity. That's the first opportunity.
Russell Wilson ain't no scrub.
I know, but it's their first opportunity, right? It's the first opportunity.
Spencer Rattler played last year. He was god awful. Like, not much has changed. Remember, like, when you're in the league now, he's his second year in the league. Like, the team's gonna do terrible. Slaw's gonna come in because what happens with teams is when the team's that bad, they're already evaluating the team next season. So you need to put someone in there that can actually move the offense because you need to see, okay, how is our offensive line play? How are receivers playing? You want someone that's going to give the defense a bit of a chance to breathe,
Tyler
get a career
Shough.
now. That's all it is, man.
Listen, this is a tank job by the Saints. They want one of the top QBs next year, and they're trying to get them one draft pick. That's why they took Tyler Shough. That's why they kept Spencer Rattler.
Premium backup.
Because as soon as Derek Carr announced that he's retiring, they're like, okay, we're in tank mode now. Let's try and get a callback for
because they didn't
2026.
like anybody.
And-
They didn't like anybody that they could actually get to.
Maybe they just
No,
brought him in as
But it's a lot.
because-
To spend a second round pick though on somebody that they're going to discard after 1 year.
it's
Is
a lot.
You could have got
Because
safety,
here's-
linebacker,
because here's the
edge
thing.
rusher.
They could have had Shedeur Sanders starting from them right now, and Shedeur could have been their starting quarterback and possibly their quarterback of the future, prove himself this year, and their franchise quarterback is done. You know, if they had drafted Shedeur, I'd probably give him a chance this weekend versus the Bombs. But obviously they didn't. So
I mean, we've already seen Spencer Rattler. There's a reason why. Like, it's always interesting when I go on team Reddits because there's so much enthusiasm in American sports, and regardless of who you have on your team. Like in the UK, if we know we've got a bum lineup, we'll call it out. We know it.
Of
But
course,
in the States,
but
they really be backing their guys. They're talking about Spencer Rattler. Let's get behind him. I'm like, what are you talking about?
no, you get behind. You want him to do well, right? You want him to prove you wrong, right?
You want him to do well, but I'm like, bro, you've seen him play. Like when he
He's a
was
great
given the keys last year because it was like, look, you're the starter, so you play. You're getting these reps, and car crash, and you've got a guy underneath him who's already been in a car crash from the looks of his medical. I'm gonna stop with the slander, but you've got that element too as well, where you drafted a guy that's not good enough to usurp him as the starter. You know, so it's kind of like This is either a soft tank or they have no idea what they're doing. I can't imagine the managers earning the salary they're earning. I can't imagine they don't know what they're doing. I think this is a soft tank. I think they want to draft their QB. Like a lot of the guys coming out next year are better than both QBs on the roster. The third guy coming out next year is better than the best guy they've got on their roster as a QB. So I think this is just one of those situations. What you want to do as a Saints fan is you want your team to be healthy throughout the year. You want to see sparks. You want to see playmakers, non-QB playmakers on that team. And then you want to build from there. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, good luck.
Like if you look at the rookie picks for the Saints, no skill positions on the offensive side. Nobody. Aside from a 7th round pick on a tight end and a 6th round pick on their 4th running back, that is.
I mean, skills positions. Well, do they really need anybody with Olave?
So you look at their wide receivers, Olave. Yeah, good, right? Rashid Shaheed.
Yep.
Good deep option. Brandon Cooks, vet, but we know that he doesn't tend to last more than a certain amount of time in one place.
Yeah, but the funny thing about Brandon Cooks, the people need to check his stats. He always produces.
He produces, but unfortunately, I don't think he's going to have the same level of production because of who's throwing the ball. But yeah, he's
not. But if the quarterback is good, he's always going to produce.
Yeah. Well, let's see what those 3 quarterbacks will do. We don't expect any of the other rookies to actually even make it onto the field unless something really catastrophic actually happens. So we'll touch upon how they're doing probably once they're announced. How quickly they're announced? You put the comments below because at the moment we're all just kind of speculating.